Hey, good afternoon, guys. This is UC from iTradePrice, April 15th, Saturday. Just wanted to dig in and get started on our weekly video. So here's a chart of QQQ, right? I always like to start with the indices, just kind of get the better overall look and feel of what's going on in the higher time frame as well. So monthly view, right? The month of April, right? We are almost half of a month into it, right? So it's not really gone much anywhere, right? We are defending this 312.8, right? That was the sort of the high of February, right? Then we broke out above that, and now we kind of tested that range, low end of that this current week, and then we kind of nicely bounced from there. So if this turns red to green, which it looks like it did during the week, but couldn't really kind of close in that way, and try to get above previous month's high of 321.8. That will be the major resistance right now that we'll have to target. And once above that, 334.9, 335, that sort of feels the right level to target on the upside, right? On a weekly view, we have the double bottom here, right? You can see since the past 2 weeks, we have tested this twice. So good demand here. Just if I zoom out a little bit, you can see we are in this nice up channel, right? And then within that up channel, we have this sort of more steep up channel shown in this white channel, right? We just kind of got out of that. So it's good to have those kind of things for intraday trades, because if you want to trade on the weaker side, if you want to see, hey, is the price losing momentum, things like that. So this can give you good reference, right? So like I said, once above that 325, we have a couple of touch points, 326.9, 334 being the major level to target, because we have, if you kind of go all the way towards left, we have these levels right here. 335 was resistance. Once we broke out above that, we did see a bounce here as well. So that remains sort of the target on the upside. In the downside, if we break down below 312.8, right, then we have 308 and then 306, 305 becoming your next support level, because that's sort of the structure. That's where we kind of broke out from right here, and then we retested that, so that becomes your downside target, or this channel's uptrend line can be the target on the downside if we lose the steam here. On a daily chart, a whole lot of nothing basically. Just big range days, you can say, between 320, 319 to like 312, just kind of like that, chop sideways. Don't really have this vertical movement, just sideways movement. So it held its ground, no bearish bar, kind of see any significant downside, follow through, buy volume still overall healthy, so not bad, right? We'll see what happens next week. In the 4-hourly view, nothing really popping out. It's just, this is again 312.8 was the level that we broke out of, so that became your support, and since this whole week we have been kind of defending that, right? So that's the look and feel of this QQQ. SPY, let's check out the monthly view as well. Still getting tight, still, because we have this downtrend line right here and this uptrend line right here. So the price is kind of getting tight, and it will eventually break out or break down, whichever way it wants to go, because but it's anticipated or to be a big move, because we've just been very, very tight recently. And this monthly bar from March was nice, good bottom wick, and now we're trying to get above that. We have this downtrend line that we need to kind of break above. 417.6 is your sort of a major level. 418 if you want to just round it off. That's where we saw multiple times price getting rejected from, and it was support, right, as well in the towards the, say, a year or so ago, around 22, start of 22. So yeah, this is a big level now. That's why maybe it's taking some time to kind of get above that, or if it wants to break out or not. So weekly view, still higher highs, right? Overall, no bearish week, right? Higher highs, that's fine as well. 405.7 is our reference point. for bulls to for the price and structure to stay bullish above that. If we get below that, then definitely 393.8, which is also the uptrend line, can be your target. So far looks good and healthy. Nothing wrong with it. On a daily time frame, we keep chugging along, right? I mean, it's just bearish days don't see any downside, right? This was a big one. This one is a big one. Didn't really see any downside. Defended 405.7 for 3 days. Got a nice bullish action on Friday. We tried to break out, but couldn't really do it. Kind of just close towards the high end of the week, right? So not bad. If I drill down to, let's say, an hourly view, zoom out a little bit. So yeah, I mean, this sort of level, right? This was the resistance. We broke out above that, rejected. Maybe market participants thought that this is a breakout failure and they got short. And right now it could be that, they're kind of trapped, because if they're short, this is their stop loss. And if this breaks out, they'll have to cover, and that can ignite a rally, right? If not, if we lose this momentum, then definitely this 405.7 becomes your support level to target on the downside. Or if you want to play bounce from here, that can also be in play, right? So that kind of play can be in the works. Okay, Tesla. Monthly view, not really telling much, except this was the support and now this is the resistance. Let me bring in the levels. There you go. Let's check out the weekly structure. So weekly still okay, right? Not really bad, but it's just on a relative basis it is weak, right? Where the market like Apple, Microsoft, all those names are trading like right here, and this one is right here. So relative weakness, right? If market gives up, this will be the first to break down, right? To lean bullish on this name, I really think we need to get above 191.6, and I'll show you that in a minute when we drill down to a lower time frame. But we did see a bounce, some hold here, 176.3 in a weekly level, but does not feel really too promising unless or until we can take out 191.6, and then of course 202.7, because that's where the downtrend line is, and we can target the upside towards 217, right? So on a daily view, so we got this two channels going on right now. We have this down channel shown in the white, right? And then we have this up channel shown in the green, right? So there are multiple ways you can trade this on an intraday basis. But for now, again, leaning a little weak to bearish, right? We have this bearish trend bar, and then Thursday and Friday we couldn't really do much. Inside days, right? If I zoom in, these are two inside days, so that means probably buy stops are sitting here and sell stops are sitting here. It goes above, it can ignite some rallies towards 191. If it fails, it can trap buyers, break down. So you have to be flexible when trading this name, because this just changes so instantly, right? But if you are trying to swing this name, you want to have some backing in a weekly time frame, which I don't see right now if you want to swing on the long side, right? So we'll see what happens, but 191.6 is your reference to kind of get bullish above that, and then see if it gets a follow through to take us towards 202.7, and then eventually break out of this downtrend line. On the downside, if it breaks down below this uptrend line, gives up 176.3, then definitely this white channel comes into play, which means then we can just kind of move towards here. This is a support as well, 163. Okay, so that's how you can kind of plan for this name. Apple, really nice name, strong name since the past few months now. Here's a weekly view. Actually, let's take a quick look at a monthly view as well. Yeah, I mean, it looks like a big monthly wide bull flag, right? This was the this is the low end of the bull flag, right? This is your sort of that. I mean, it's not really clean, but but if you just want to call it a channel, maybe, if not a bull flag, right? So let's see if it breaks out above that. 171.1 is your initial target, and then see if it kind of breaks out and moves towards the high end of the structure, which is 179.7, right? In the weekly view, higher highs, higher lows. We did break out of this bull flag, right? This is the one that we were really nicely playing. 156 was our support on the pullbacks. 162 was a support on the pullback, because if you see, it's much better look actually in the daily time frame. Here you go, just a better view. So we got out of, broke out of about 162, tested it twice, gave nice trades, you know, broke down a little bit below that, did not see any downside follow through. If it had gone towards this channel, I would have definitely got long here for a swing, but I ended up, I think, buying it around 161, 162, and then played the top towards 164, 165. It was on strength. So now, even now, to daily bar, right, no weakness right now, so definitely it can keep on moving to the upside. If you kind of make this channel, this is a downtrend line, definitely that becomes your natural first target. 167, 168, 171 becoming the weekly level to target. So looks nice and strong, nothing wrong with it. Buy volume has been more, of course, earnings coming up in a few weeks, but so far so good. Okay, let's take a look at Amazon. Definitely weaker chart in the monthly time frame, but after a long move to the downside, we are not seeing any more downside follow through. So if you look at on the left side here, this was sort of the support area, right? We saw bounces from here. Once it broke down, it couldn't really break above that. So now it's trying that, right? It is making higher lows and sort of, maybe you can say, an ascending triangle. So once it breaks this downtrend line like that, then definitely these areas become your upside targets. 114, 121, of course. These are more longer term, medium term targets. If you are playing day-to-day basis, then definitely there's other ways to trade this name. But you can see 104 is the recent resistance that we need to get above, and 95.7 it remains the support, right? That's where we saw multiple touch points and bounces from, and this is where we have been seeing some rejections from. So just, you know, rejections from there have been quick, you know, in recent history. This time around, we're sticking around for a longer time, so that could be an indication that it wants to break out on the upside, right? Of course, time will tell. You have to plan accordingly, but this is how the daily looks, right? Any downside move we see, don't really get any follow through. Buy volume has been better than the sell volume, right? So that's not bad. So yeah, looks good. As long as 98 is holding, 95.7 is holding, you know, it's better buy on the dips. All right. Next is Microsoft. Let's take a look at monthly view. Really strong name. Traded this a lot this past week, right? Broke out of this down channel, right? Nice bottom wicks. Month of March was nice bullish trend bar, right? So the structure high is what the hell just happened? Oops. So the structure high on a monthly basis or even on a weekly basis remains this 294.5, 295, right? That's where we saw some rejections from. So it could be that it's taking its sweet time before it tries to break out of that. But as long as we're above 282 on a short-term basis, intraday action remains strong, right? Here's weekly view. If I look at that, look at it like this, yeah, and we can actually make a trend line too here. Not a pretty one, but looks nice, right? So if it breaks down and you're trying to swing this name, then definitely you want to have multiple things working in your favor, right? So if it breaks down towards 269, 270, definitely that was the resistance that this bar broke out of, right? And then we tested that level multiple times, right? Right here, 269.9, 270. So that can be your swing level, right? Right here between 270 and 260, somewhere around that. That's where you have the uptrend line, and the prior resistance, which can act as support now. So if that happens, of course, right? But on a short-term basis, day-to-day basis, 282 right now remains your support, because that was the resistance on the way up, as you can see here. Okay, so let's see if it can break out above 295 now. That is the next major level for it to break above, and we'll see. But you can always, again, first touch resistance can also be in play, where you short this name at 294.5 for a quick scalp or something like that. Okay, let's take a look at NVIDIA, which has been on an absolute tear. Monthly view, right? 3 bullish bars, nothing wrong with that. Of course, earnings are coming. Expected some weakness or some sideways action right after such a bullish run. Weekly view still fine, right? No bearish bar, see any downside follow through, still in the uptrend. But one thing if you can notice is that the past 2 weeks, right, we saw, this was the first time we saw 2 weeks worth of red bars, right? This was one, this was one. So anytime we saw that, we saw a bounce. Anytime we saw that, nice bounce. So this time around, some sideways action, some top wick, weak close. Does not really mean you short it, but I would like to play a bear call spread, a bear put spread on this one, bear call spread on this one, if we move towards 289, right? That's because I really want one test of highs and a failure for me to kind of lean more bearish on this name and really convince myself that this is falling apart, right? But right now it's just sideways, holding this 258, 260 level, and it's approaching this uptrend line. So if you want to swing this name, definitely this is the time where you kind of look into that. Your risk will be small, because if it fails from here, you can take a stop loss quickly as it fails this uptrend line, versus chasing it over here, trying to see if it breaks out. Because if you get long here, your stop loss will be tight. Even if it comes here, you have some cushion built in. Even if the breakout fails, you can get stopped out for a higher price what you paid for it. So something like that, right? So this is exactly how it played out over here, right? So this is where we are right now. So okay, let's take a look at Netflix as well quickly. Monthly view, kind of consolidating on the monthlies, but bullish for now, right? No bearish trend bar, nice upside stair stepping type of move. Weekly chart is fine as well, just sideways after this 3 bullish trend bars. So maybe the next week is earnings week as well on this one, and that can see a nice pushback, breakout towards 363 on a nice earnings. If it does not do that, if it breaks down, 321 is your first support, and then definitely monitor for further weakness or whatever, right? But this is how it looks like right now. We can definitely make some sort of channel here like that, right? Something like that. So if you want to take a chance for a swing trade, you would want something price to come over here, see a bounce, and then eventually break out of that. Or if it breaks down, then 321, and then this was the support, right? As this was resistance, it became support, so that becomes your downside target on weakness, at least initially. Of course, earnings can do anything, but I'm just talking from chart perspective. Okay, here's a chart of Meta in monthly, kind of V-shaped kind of a recovery. So we're kind of getting close to the structure resistance around 239 to 40. So not, I mean, of course we have earnings which kind of throws twist to everything, but I mean, if you want to take a chance, if it moves towards 239 to 40, that can be a short play, right? Because that's the resistance in the monthly time frame, and after all this big move up, could be some profit taking that kicks in at the time of earnings, right? Because earnings are announced, maybe everything is priced in, and we see a nice profit taking move to the downside. Okay, so if that happens, 190 from 239, then 197 is becoming your sort of downside target, because that was the resistance on the way up. This becomes support now if it breaks down. This is where we have structure low, so that becomes your next key level. Okay, and of course if it breaks out above 239, there's not much resistance until like 280 or like even 300. So we'll see what happens, but this is approaching its chart-based resistance, at least for now. All right. If you guys have any questions, comments, things of that nature, please leave me a message. Hope you have a good rest of your weekend.